This is Andy Miller's office, 712 West Okanagan Place, where we park and reside the A&M irrigation truck that was parked here and left from Home Depot. Destination date from AM Irrigation, those checks were cashed over at the Money Tree with Amy Mueller, and the Mueller administrations at Frank Musco at 1401 South Union. I got ballot forms, the presidential election, which is by Donald Trump, and also the presidential election at the 101 East Main Street, Othello, Washington. That's J. Felice, Mr. McKinnon and Moses Lake law firm. J. Felice, attorney office at 190 East Main Street, Othello, Washington. And also Mr. Andy Miller, prosecutor of Washington State, Washington Bar Association, regional offices Tacoma, Seattle, and Spokane. And also the Kennedy Building, the federal Kennedy Building here in Richland, Washington on Jadwin. I put the confirmation, the ballot forms, administration officer signed upstairs in Ann Miller's office. Upstairs with the computer laptop that's upstairs, and also the Apple and also the other devices. The i3, the i5, the i7, the i8, the i10, the i11, which is Microsoft. All Microsoft. Now we have the administration office here, of course, and the ballot forms are sent here by Mr. General Election Campaigns, and that's Melissa McKnight, and also Freddie Courthouse, and also, don't forget, Larissa Perez, Human Resources. And Human Resources and the ballot forms and registration forms are filled out, processed here in Freda, here in Benton County. Also Benton County, Mueller's Funeral Home, Administration Office have all the download information. We're going to park and situate the crosswalk and the sidewalk. And the sidewalk is only promising for individuals that you got to make sure you got carry your services all the way to the mailbox, and which is adjacent or parallel to the parking stipulation. The service is at 712 Okanagan Place, Kennewick, Washington. We have Wi-Fi service, which I can download my antivirus, download my payments for my Benton County water bill and the Benton County electric bill, and also the utilities in Othello, Washington at 500 East Main Street. I can use that, have my Wi-Fi and have it active by Andy Miller at, and have it active undisturbed wireless services. And as you can see at the 500 East Main, or 1005 East Hamlet, Sean Logan, mayor of Othello's house. I use the Rotor Club. Mother and father, Jim Logan, Sean Logan, Betty Logan, and Don Logan at the Carpet Carousel at 65 Broadway on Othello, Washington, 9934. And also Eric D. Olson at 509-488-5651. That's he got some property, houses, developments, and also other services on that property line. You get the Tri-City Herald at the 500 East Main Street, Othello, Washington. Since I was a child, I was left in a grocery store and also left at the Tri-City Herald. Now in the manifest abstract record, you see the backlog of the D9, D6, and also the water tanker and the the Bobcat, and also some trailers for work crew, compensation for engineering and plotting. They got all the rubble and gathered, and also the earth mover and also the D6, D9 are escalating to top it off with the soil and have it mixed up so they can have the machinery come in and process the soil, move the soil. We use asphalt and also the barriers of the concrete for the pavement, asphalt, and also the barriers, the concrete, the old existing roads from 1972, 1962, 69, 68, just small platforms of landscape that was pulled off the American environment. Now the environment for the soil, the concrete, the asphalt, the D6, the D9, and also the trailers for subdividing the crew of retrieving blueprints for the water lines, the Boise Cascade lumber, or either the forest lumber from Choice or from Clearwater in Kennewick, Washington, or a lumber yard for their services for the forming and platforming, and also the system that they got for receiving data, processing data on the server, and also the increments on the data on information. This is the fire department, which is here at the Kennewick, Washington, on, of course, the administration next to Andy Miller's office at the prosecutors, Washington State Bar Association, and their services that they got implemented. Implemented in many ways. So they didn't figure that I can crawl out of the vagina with combat boots and Class A uniform out of the vagina, and walked out of California, walked all the way to Secretary of State Kim Williams' office, walked to the governor's office, from California, from Andy Miller's office to California to Andy Miller's office, to the prosecutor's office in Seattle, prosecutor's office in Franklin County, prosecutor's office in the city of San Luis Obispo, and the San Luis Obispo Senate office on Highlander and Walnut, which is Highlander on Highlander, but I'm sorry, Walnut, on Walnut Street. Senate office is Senator office, the Senate office, and Secretary Kim Wayman, also Mr. Senator McCain's office, and write out a check to implement the services for process of the individual living arrangements for Senator McCain, Roberta, Andy Miller, and Andy Miller is active, Washington Bar Association. Also his physical increments and his dietitians and also services for mother and father siblings are active. Kim Wayman's active, she had surgery. And the services they got with Mr. J. Felice, he's running, exercising. He's an attorney at law in Fellow, Washington, 190 East Main Street, Fellow, Washington. McKinnon Law Firm in Mosaic, that's McKinnon Law Firm on Olive in Mosaic, right by Rhonda Kaiser Funeral Home. He's healthy as well. And also Mrs. Tabler Wallace, there's Nate, Natalie, Nate, Chadwick, and Ken Chadwick, Natalie, and Reagan. And their services at number 56 on C Street in front of Washington. Melissa McKnight's healthy. And also the rest of Perez, Human Resources, and Kirk Slinger is pretty healthy. Our clients and services they got here at the administration office. We got the engineer fields and also the fire department, Co and Fish, make sure their increments and their services are upraising and not holding anything back since the snowfall. And the freezing points are away. It used to be a fast, easy process of excavating and processing information. Mr. James and McGee Law Firm in Mosaic with McKinnon Law Firm, and also Dora, and Dora's the secretary, and also Taylor is the secretary of Andy Miller's office at 509-735-3591, 509-736-3066. Association with the Tri-State Herald, increments will be documented and received, and a doctrine, as you can see. Walking all the way from California, San Luis Obispo, all the way here, driving over the San Francisco Bridge, all the way into Andy Miller's office, driving from Pismo, Oceano, Avila Beach, and also the services they got here at Arizona, Prescott, Flagstaff, and New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Fresno, downtown Fresno, which is Fresno on Hedges, and the residents, the water bill, the electricity bill, and also the Safeway bill for monthly service Safeway in Fresno, California. Of course, Albertson's bill for the water bill in Pismo Beach, the water bill in Avila Beach, and also San Luis Obispo, downtown Higuera, which is the creditor's office and a new administration office for receiving also the water bill and sewer line services. But the Benton PUD receives the payments online services, so everything's pretty active. That I just hope they don't disturb the internet services in any way, because of the services that they got for the pretrial omnibus and also carry on to trial and pretrial, and the documentations that has to be looked over because of the service has to be looked over, and also the training facility for the Goals Gym, and also the Goals Gym and other gym facilities through the Northwest, which is Global, and also the Mo Fitness here, and also the 24 Fitness for the Water and Aquatic Center, and also the training facility at Queensgate, the liquor plant, and Richland, Washington, also Eli, which has the training facility connected to the Queensgate facility. Hopefully this thing will be on and over with. I love the increments of laying down the Tri-City Herald and the first and last of the logo systems that they have, the services of updating. As you can see, the texture of the logging information of the court, Simon's Mall, the food court. Now the Easter Prime Minister Mr. Donald Trump providing services for the increments and receiving intel information, walking downtown Seattle, walking downtown with Bill Gates in Seattle and Starbucks, and going to Chinatown and Japanese families, immediate Chinese families that speak English. The mother and father just said that their grandfather and Chinese brother said all they're going to do is start problems with Felix Barela. Mr. Yates at Gonzaga University had a bunch of dead bodies in the back of the truck, but that was no problem, because he told me, he said the administration office here in Spokane are crooked, their staff members are crooked, and also their police officers are crooked. And he said, well, good luck to you, Felix. Letting you know that how this crooked system is here in the United States of America, especially Fairchild's Air Force Base and Gonzaga University, because Mr. Yates, he's in the United States Army. He's a specialist and active duty in the military Army. He flies the Apache, the Black Hawk, and several other aviation components like the stealth bomber and also the Hercules, the C-17. Arrival dates and services he trained and did flight time, and also the adversaries that collected data against him, and providing services for testimony and on Sprague, and also the prostitutes, and soliciting on in Spokane, Washington, like Seattle, Arizona, Van Buren, which is Senator McCain and Meghan McCain. And also Meghan McCain and Senator McCain have connections, and deep connections, that expose the community here. As you can see, the beautiful Levy building, the $2 billion contract that was done and bided and connected from Benton County. That's Donald Trump's divorce. Donald Trump's wife, she wanted a settlement of $2 billion and she received it. There's a excavation building next door that can condone those services and continue those services, because I am a active resident, and also Mr. Andy Miller is a active resident and Washington Bar Associate. Now the services they provide and the alleviation of the children of the household, which is Seth Miller, Norma. There's Norma, and there's Seth, and there's Andy Miller, and there's grandfather and grandmother, and then also the life care services in Pasco and Kennewick and Richland. So the endeavors for the services, they continue to be uncontributed and serving, and trying to. Mr. Yates himself they consider him as a serial killer, but he killed prostitutes and people that bothered me in any minor shape or form of working at Gonzaga. Built Gonzaga, the baseball field, the football field, the basketball field, and all the dorms and services that provide, and also masonry, brick, water lines, domestic lines of Vista Utilities, and Mission in Spokane, Washington. They built Spokane Vista Utilities, AM Irrigation as well, and Home Depot's here in Spokane, and here in, of course, Kennewick, Washington, which is on Tappatil. Now we got Circuit City here in Tappatil, and we also have the Keystone, Gravel Pit, and Whacker, and services that rebuilt because the wall broke, and fell on top of me. So I was buried underneath gravel and brick and drove the truck into here and parked in Annie Miller's office, the judge, commissioners, the prosecutors, deputies, jailers, etc. So anyways, I parked it and gave him some money and left it here. So the owners of the administration of Amarillo, Texas, and Amarillo contract for Amarillo for Earth Movers, D6D9s, Catskills, and also bulldozers, and also the military ordinances of Geneva, NATO, was considered to be confronted on their services, and the $1 million wall was built, and also the $2 billion was processed and sent to Bill Gates, or I'm sorry, to Mr. Bill Gates, and also their services contribute to the services because of the Microsoft programs that they consider on the window that's been paid for. Now, Mr. Bill Gates and his way and his services procured the Tri-City Herald, leaving a beautiful trail and service here, administration office, that they have non-tangible and tangible evidence and circumstances and services. And Mr. Donald Trump's going to court because I'm at Fairchild's Airport, Danforth Hotel, and the Ferrari Ruscio Spokane and Miss International Airport in Moses Lake, and they found me, so they see me, and as you can see, United States Army, they ain't afraid to go to prison for abiding their duty and not leaving anybody behind in any shape or form. And anyone being processed or evaluated in that shape or form, as you can see, they were prosecuted. So the United States Army had Mr. Yates do his job, and he went to prison for it. And he's not an alcoholic, he's not a drug addict. He has a wife, he has children, and he has siblings. He has children, he has siblings, and he has a wife. See, there's no law across the street from Annie Miller's office. From the defendant office in Arizona, Senator Meghan McCain, Roberta McCain's office, and then crossing the street, there's no law against that. And then go to the Tri-City Herald, and serving these individuals from resident to military base, because these individuals, as you can see, always looking for a way to falsify documentation, RCWs, WACs, and looking for an individual to imprison them for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Since the Washington Bar Association has 1, 2, 3, 4. That's an urn, that's a concrete liner, that's a monarch, that's a mausoleum, that's J. Mueller Administration Office, that's the FBI, CIA, that's Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, and Soderman, which is Sandy Strawn, the Commissioner of Bend County. The Step-Tone Services, the Canal, Clearwater, Columbia Drive, Ford companies. This is the Ford company, and this is now Kia Motors. This one is Richland, Washington, West Richland, Richland Post Office. This one is Kennedy's building. This one is Kennedy building slot, and Peel's office, regional office 1, 2, and 3, Tacoma, Seattle, Spokane, and also Lee Boulevard, Kennedy building. This one is the deputy sheriffs, and overturned for the seals for documentation from State Patrol, any State Patrol, I-90, 395, I-82, the Canada border, Spokane, or Washington and Canada border, Washington and Idaho border, and also the ocean fronts, which is Bellevue, Olympia, and or Cordis, and then those services from an Olympic Kennewick State Patrol office, and then the service that they got 1, 2, 3, 4. See the emblems on those services if it says Tri-City Herald, and these emblems they have, Tri-City Herald does prevent. You got subscriptions, services. They got the TriCityHerald.com, and also downloaded on Administration Office on the archives. That's the Barela section. See, that's a Barela section. That is the Barela section. That is the Barela section. And that is the Barela section. They all got served. Obama put his hand in there. Hillary Clinton put his hand in there. Bill Clinton put his hand in there. And also, Mr. Manis put his hand in there. He's a general in the Marines. And also, Mr. Othello, our general of the Army, put his hand in there. And the services for the Pentagon Administration Office, Mueller's administration, J. Mueller administration, the General Election Campaign, Secretary Kim Wayman, Nancy Pelosi in Seattle. That's airport, airport, SeaTac Airport. That's Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, and also Fairchild's Donald Trump, and also Lee Pelosi. And Barbara Boxer, the administration in Idaho, which is Crane Senator's office in Idaho. These borders and contracts are all binded and dealt with and circumstanced. That's the original plateau and sidewalk that was put in. The sidewalk was built in process, the wiring, the bedding wire was built in 1972, October of 1972. And there's a ledger information, October 1972. There's a ledger information on Google Services, Microsoft, October 1972. In 1985-86, Bill Gates was the billionaire of the year, 39-38. Bill Gates was the foundation of a Microsoft company, and the foundations, the rebar and the grout goes with Bill Gates' administration. That goes into 1313 West Grand Ronde. This is Iniat Canal, Columbia Drive, Ford Company, Kia Motors, Mercedes-Benz, and also now East Pro Build, but now it's called Choice. And the services for these things all downloaded and sent. And that's $2 billion for Donald Trump and Avak and Mumun Ganja. That 1090 Farm and Child Services for the Social Security Office at 8131. That's Gage Boulevard, 8131 Klamath, Cincinnati. And that's 4 boxes all binded at one and down the services.